Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Paul.
And I'm David.
And we're with the DiceyReview.com. And today we're going to be looking at the 2 to 4 player game Animals on Board by Stronghold Games. In this game, players are trying to collect as many animals on their ark as they can. It's tricky though because there's this guy Noah who has claimed all pairs of animals for himself. In fact, he's decreed that there's an anti-pairing law. So at the end of the game, if you have any pair of animals on board, you have to discard them.
However, you can circumvent the pairing law if you have more than 2 or less than 2 animals. So 1 of a kind is fine, or 3 or more of a kind is fine, just no pairs.
So now that we've talked a little bit about the theme of the game, let's look at how to set it up and then how to play. So the first thing we're going to want to do is give each player an ark, and each player will get a break flag, and those will be placed next to their ark.
Then, you're going to take all of your food crates and place them within easy reach of every player. Then each player will take 1 food crate and put it next to their ark in view of all other players. This is your personal supply. You'll then take the first player flag and give it to the oldest player. That's me.
Next, we're going to gather the animal tiles. So in Animals on Board, there are 12 different animal species ranging from 1 to 5. So for instance, you might have 5 rhinos, you'll have 5 tigers, and it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 within the same species. In a 2-player game, we are only going to use 8 of the species.
We'll take the 4 animal species we removed and set those aside. You can put them back in the box. You won't need them. All right, now that we've got the game set up, we're going to do an animal draft. Every player will draw 3 tiles. You choose 1 tile that you'd like to keep and put that in your ark. The other 2 are going to go face up in the middle of the table. This creates your first animal group.
So after we've done the starting group, we're going to need to flesh it out a little bit. At the start of each round, you will draw up to however many animals are supposed to be in the group, depending on how many people are playing. In a 2-player game, you're going to have 9 animals. One of those tiles has to be face down, so we'll go ahead and fill out the rest of this group, and then we're ready to talk about the actions that you can take.
In Animals on Board, you play in a series of rounds where players can take actions. Those actions are splitting a group or taking a group into your ark. We'll talk more in detail about those in a moment.
So the first thing that you can do is split the animal group. So to have an animal group that you can split, obviously there needs to be at least 2 tiles. 1 animal by itself is considered a group, but to do the actual split action, you have to have 2 or more. So what I could do on my turn, for instance, is I could take these 4 animal tiles, place them off by themselves, and this creates 2 new animal groups. The group that you removed from fills in and becomes its own group. And when you do this action, you also get to take a food crate from the supply and place it next to your ark.
On my turn, I would also want to choose to split, because the other action you could take would be to take a group of animals into your ark. But in order to do that, you have to have enough food to feed that group, 1 per animal. Since I only have 1 food, I'm going to have to take a choice and split the groups again. Now we have 3 animal groups, and I would take another food into my supply.
A quick thing to mention about the food crates, you can only have 5 at any time. So if you were to take an action that would give you 6 food crates, you would have to discard 1 down to 4 food crates. You still get to split the groups, but you just wouldn't get another food. So as you can see from the table, we've made a few more splits. We've each gotten some more food. So we actually have enough now to buy an animal group. So I think I'm going to do that. What you do when you buy an animal group is you select 1 group from the table. You have to be able to pay enough food to take the entire group. So I'll take this one, and you put it on your ark. And when you do that, you have to pay exactly 1 food for each animal that you took. In addition, if you're the first player to buy a group of animals and put them on your ark, you get to take the first player flag. And after you take that action, you'll need to put your break flag in your ship to let other players know you've dropped out of the round.
If you're the last player who hasn't dropped out of the round, you get 1 more action before the round ends. Now, I definitely want to take that action and get a chance to bring some animals onto my ark. Since I have enough food to do that, I'll take this group of animals and put them on my ark, and I'll pay the 2 food required to bring them on. And then I'll put up my break flag.
So now that we've both dropped out of the round, it's time to check for in-game conditions. Now, we don't have enough animals to trigger the end of the game, and we'll talk more about that later. We want to talk about what you do at the start of every round. So as you can see, these groups are split up in the middle of the table. So at the start of every round, we need to get back to the size of animals that matches our player count. So we need 9 animals out on the table.
We'll put these animals back out, making sure that we have 8 face up and 1 face down.
And if there's already a face down tile on the table, you don't look at it and you don't put out another face down tile. You just leave the one that's already there. So after we've dealt out the new tiles, we're ready to start another round. And basically we do the same thing. Each player will take one action, either splitting animals or taking a group on board.
We'll continue playing this way as many rounds as necessary, until at the end of any round, a player has 10 or more tiles in their arc. That arc is full and the game ends. Then we'll move on to scoring.
So like David said, at the end of any round where a player has 10 or more tiles, we're going to do some scoring. So for scoring, the first thing that we'll do is each player will remove any pair of animals that they own. This could be on your arc or any animals that you've just taken. I'm going to get rid of these giraffes.
And as you can see, I wasn't able to get that elusive third gorilla, so I'll get rid of these guys.
After you've discarded any pairs, you can put any remaining animals on your arc and group them by species however you want to.
After that, what you're going to do is take any herds that you have and put those together, and then take any other animals that you have that weren't part of a herd. Any animals that you have that weren't part of a herd will be worth however many points are on the card. Each herd, the animals are worth 5 points each. So in this example, I have 30 points for my 2 herds and 5 points for my rhinoceros, giving me 35 points.
In my example up here, I've got 15 points for each of these herds, which would give me the 30, and then I've got 12 more, so I've got 42 total.
So Paul won this time, but we'll obviously be playing again.
In the case of a tie, whoever has the most different species will be the winner, and if there's still a tie, the victory is shared.
Thanks so much. That's our video. If you have any questions about it, feel free to email us at thedicey@gmail.com. We also have a guild on Board Game Geek, or you can check out the podcast, The Dicey Review. You can find that on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. Or check out more videos on our YouTube channel, The Dicey Review.
Thanks so much, everybody. Until next time, we'll see you at the table.